Yo, 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 what's going on, family? It's your boy VIC93 coming in live for another episode of Vic's Takes, episode number 4 to be exact. I just want to appreciate everybody for tapping in with me. We got a interesting topic today. Want to talk about Shedur Sanders and this upcoming NFL draft. We're going to be talking about Travis Hunter. Should he play wide receiver and cornerback? This video breakdown is brought to you thanks by Fox Sports, FS1, First Things First, Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds, and Coach Eric Mangini. No Chris Broussard today, which is, I'm a little sad about that. I like Chris, but yeah, he's not on this video. So we're going to see what they got to say about Shedur Sanders. I got a chance to catch up a little bit on the combine. It was some crazy 40 times from all positions. Saw some guys pump out some iron on the 225 bench press. So there's some athletes, man. It's some impressive athletes coming into this draft. I think this is going to be a deep draft, a very talented group of guys coming into the league this year. It's going to be interesting to see how it falls, where it lands. Hopefully my Cowboys pick Ashton Jonty, one of the best backs in college, and we definitely need him. Cowboys are in a rough spot. We look like we might be the worst team in our own division after Washington just picked up Deebo Samuels, and I'll do another video about that too. Want to touch on that Deebo Samuels situation. But let's, without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this video. Let's see what they got to say. And I'll, of course, be pausing it throughout the video just a few times just to give you my thoughts and opinions on the situation. And let's see, if I agree with any of these guys about this. So let's rock and roll.
Your reaction, you love force multiplying.
I do, and I do love his confidence, and I do love that that's his perspective. But I also think he's probably forgetting that he's not coming with his dad. And I think Dion probably had a pretty big part of changing Jackson State and changing Colorado. So unfortunately, he's not coming with him. And then you're not coming with Travis Hunter either. I feel like Travis had a pretty significant part of being able to change those programs as well. And I there's a lot of things I like about Shedur, but I do think that the sacks are a real problem. And I know that the sacks have been attributed primarily to his offensive line, but there's a bunch of times where he's holding the ball, he's running around, he's trying to make a play. It results in a sack, and he's sacked more than anybody else in college football. You try to do that in pro football. As Caleb saw that adjustment. It's an issue. And then I see elements of Caleb without the wow plays.
That's what I was going to say.
Saw from Caleb.
You do see some of the concerns. You do see some of the highlights, but not
like Caleb.
No. And I'm glad you're saying it, not me, because I sound biased on it because I've been so high on Caleb since, gosh, he was at Oklahoma. But I agree with that entirely. Like a lot of we have Shedur clearly has the it factor. Mm-hmm. I think the confidence is super important. I don't look at that as brash or arrogant. I look at him as, a self-assured young man who has succeeded everywhere he's gone. And unlike a lot of highly touted guys who have a chance to go in the top 5, he was not expected to succeed at every level. Some of these guys are like overcame a bunch of adversity. And it's like, well, as far as your sports career, you were the best player on the best team in high school and in college. That's not his story. So I like all of that. I don't love just the tape, so to speak, as much as other people do. And I am so I'm not going to kill him on the it's someone else's job to be like, man, this is pro football, not college football. You can't change stuff here. We have seen guys change stuff. CJ's, now he had D'Amico with him, changed it. Jaden, they took these terrible teams and they were excellent or very good their first year. So that is doable in the NFL. I just don't know if he is a plug and play instant impact player. And I am very interested in this, the fact that how many videos have we seen of him dapping up Brian Dable? He seemed to want the Giants, all of that
He had
stuff.
those Giants clean.
Yes, if the Giants don't draft him, that's concerning. And then if the Raiders don't draft him at 6, which feels like that should be the bottom for him in his draft stock.
Yes.
Right?
I don't think he gets past the Raiders if he has this personal relationship with Brady, and Brady is.
Listen, I think he does. I think it's not. I think we know he has a personal relationship with Brady. That's very clear. But I mean, I have a personal relationship with you. I wouldn't hire you to coach my flag football team.
We should. I'll change the culture around right away.
And so, I just it.
The shade. Damn, Nick. You got a former NFL head coach, and he said, I'm not going to get you to coach my flag football team. It's insane, crazy work. But I wanted to touch on a few things before I let them continue. My opinion of Shedur, I like Shedur. He's talented. I think he got a lot of hate due to his dad. He had a lot to prove for sure because of the shadow of his dad. Him and his brother, Shiloh, both of them had to overcome their dad's shadow a little bit, especially at Jackson State when Coach Prime got his first job. And then moving to Colorado, there was a lot of pressure because he made the jump from Jackson State to Colorado, but they changed that program around for sure. I just think that Shedur, it can be great in the league, in the NFL, but he definitely is going to have some things to work on. Of course, like all rookies are going to have some things to work on. So like Coach alluded to with the sacks, yeah, there was a few sacks he took that you don't like, him trying to force the play instead of taking what's given to him. But I also contribute some of that to the line because ever since they moved to Colorado, the offensive line was never put together completely. Prime had to fight in the transfer portal to try to put pieces together. He never really did get the first year he did fully revamp the roster. A lot of guys that was there before Prime got there were gone, and he brought in 30, 40 guys from the portal and, new high school recruits and stuff like that. So he definitely was trying to piece things together, but it takes time to build a team in college, especially when you're a new coach there. Usually coaches get 2 to 3 years to put a team, to build up the program, to really, you get to see the progress. Prime went from a 1-win team to a 5-win team to a 10-win team. I believe they won 10 games this past year, in 2 years. So, that's impressive. And Shedur performed. Travis Hunter, of course, was a huge part of why that was going on. So I know Coach alluded that he's not going to have Travis Hunter wherever he gets drafted, which is true. But any quarterback is going to need solid weapons to be good, especially as a rookie. As a rookie, it's a huge advantage to have good skill players around you, if not a solid number 1 receiver on your squad. I think, Shedur has showed that he can do it. And as far as what Nick was saying with, is he going to change the program year 1? That's not the main point here. I don't care if he changes the program after the first year. All you want to see the first year is him developing his skills, him getting better, showing the leadership skills and things like that. Usually, if you're getting drafted in the top 5, 9 times out of 10, you're going to suck. Of course, you have, some once every blue moon type of situations like CJ Stroud. You got guys like Jaden Daniels that come around every once in a while that can take you to the playoffs. In Jaden's case, NFC championship, but that's very rare. It's not going to happen 9 times out of 10. So you draft Shedur for the future, not for next year. So I don't think that's a fair test to judge Shedur off of. But let's go ahead and let him finish his points, and I'll let you guys know what I think.
you
Yeah,
seem
the confidence in the personal relationship is only going to go so far. And, for Tom, he's an owner of a team now. He's a different level of responsibility.
yeah.
And as much as he may like him, he's got to fundamentally believe that maybe even if he's not ready right now, that he can eventually ascend into a franchise quarterback. If you're taking him that high, don't see the same level of accuracy that you saw with Jaden. There's a lot of throws that are off target where the receiver has to adjust. There's some chances that he took that you don't love. And there's some sort of 50-50 balls that he threw up, but he was throwing them up to Travis Hunter, who made some unbelievable catches.
Yeah, but Malik Neighbors can make those catches, right?
Yeah, but you don't want that to be the bread and butter where you just got to throw it up to the best guy and he goes and makes a catch.
And you're not,
You want to be able to
and it's
place
not
enough
Big
balls
12
for the guys
defenses.
that
And-
aren't Malik Neighbors.
Mhm.
There's to me a lot of concerns, and I want to make this very clear, because far too often during draft stuff, at least to me, it feels like guys who we don't really know a lot about their character, we say there's character concerns. I have none of those with this kid. Kevin Clark told a great story about him. Everyone that's been around him tells these great stories about him. I'm not worried about that. I think that he probably got out ahead of himself a bit with some of the tweets about former teammates a year ago. I think he's matured since then. Seems like great kid. My concerns with him are all football related, and there was something else in this interview that he was asked about people that have Cam Ward number ahead of him. And he was like, yeah, there's going to be haters, everywhere. And I was like, man, that's a tough one, because there's a little blurring of like fair opinion criticism versus hating that I think a lot of people have trouble, figuring out. But it also made me think of how much of not having Dion around to almost be a criticism sponge is going to impact him. So like, when I think Dion did a great job as coach and father of, if there was ever any like air or room to go at one of his players, he turned it all on himself. And he, you know what I mean? And sometimes you do silly stuff, like tell that reporter, like, I'm not answering questions from your outlet. Like, do things that I think Dion's a really bright guy. I think it was intentional to move the spotlight towards him and keep scrutiny off his players. He's not going to have that in the pros.
I know we joked.
I just wanted to touch a few things before I let Kevin go. So what Coach was alluding to he was throwing some 50-50 balls up to Travis Hunter, and he, not sure if that's something that can be sustainable. And then Kevin Wiles made a great point with Malik Neighbors. If the Giants were to draft Shedur, he would have Malik Neighbors. Or if the Raiders were to draft Shedur, he has Brock Bowers and, some talented guys out there. So, those guys can go up and make those catches too. Maybe not as spectacular as Travis, but definitely Malik Neighbors is one of them type of dudes that can make some crazy catches for sure. No questions about it. Yes, you don't want to rely on a 50-50 ball all the time, but my argument to Coach would be that Shedur knows when it's a good time for the 50-50 ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to throw a 50-50 ball up to just anybody. You're going to throw that 50-50 ball up to somebody who has the chance to come down with it. For example, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. He got Jamar Chase. He can throw it up to Jamar Chase, jump ball, 50-50 balls, and Jamar is coming down with it more times than not. You got Justin Jefferson up in Minnesota. Sam Darnold can throw it up to him, and he was coming down with those 50-50 balls. You got a lot of good receivers out here. If they're one-on-one, it might be a good idea to throw it up there and let them try to go make a play. And that's the one thing I don't like about certain quarterbacks is when they try too hard to make the right play. Instead of get the ball into your playmaker's hands, give them a chance. Because if you throw that ball up there, 9 times out of 10, those guys, depending on who the corner is and what the coverage is, they can go up there and go get that ball as long as it's a catchable ball. So, like I said, of course, you don't want to do that every pass play. Obviously, you're going to scheme and set things up catching a guy one-on-one and he has the talent like that, like a Travis Hunter or like a Malik Neighbors, that's definitely a 50-50 ball is not the worst thing that you could do. And as far as what Nick is saying with Shedur, everything, with the Cam Ward comparison, I don't think he understands that they are actually like, they're kind of cool off the field from what I've seen. I know they trained a little bit together before the combine, and they was dropping like videos and stuff of them training together and trash talking each other and stuff like that. They're very competitive, but they're cool. Like, I'm guessing in that interview he saw where he said, there's haters. I'm pretty sure he was joking, kind of serious, but kind of joking at the same time. Like, yeah, they don't think I'm better than him. They just hating. Because, I know I'm better than him type of, but it's like a friendly competitive nature thing, not a I know I'm better than him because he's trash type of thing. So I think that was just a little misplaced, but that's not his fault. He might not know them like that or not have seen, the workouts and stuff like that. I saw that leading up to the combine and they was working out together. So that's that.
Around about this earlier in the show, this Will Howard
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Viral video.
I set it up just for you. Buddy.
No, we joked around about it because I was like, this is a huge story. And you're like, I don't know, Will Howard's combine, he's not supposed to go super high. It was fair. The story was Will Howard had a bad combine. Shedur tweets out like, this guy just won a national championship. It's one. He had his back. Came to the defense of another quarterback in the combine that I didn't know he had a relationship with. Maybe he does a great relationship. I don't think he does. But to me, it just showed ultra leadership, coach, where he's like, you know what? I'm going to ride for all the quarterbacks at the combine.
Oh, I
thought it was a great, and I know these things are like little anecdotes, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's positive that he's being supportive of other guys, and I do think his confidence is sincere, and I don't feel like it's arrogance. Doesn't come off as that at all, which to me is a very important distinction, especially for the leader of your franchise. But this process is all about flaws and finding out where a guy fits. You're also going to look at his positive traits as well, but where does the guy fit? And there's a bunch of criticism that goes into this draft process. So this isn't going to be the first or last time many of these guys are scrutinized.
This is the rare, potential, top 3 quarterback pick where, for me at least, the questions are all measurables. Like his immeasurables, the, leadership, character, all those, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he gets super high marks across the board in that stuff. I have real questions about him as a high-level NFL quarterback. You know what I mean? As far as the on the field stuff. And the Giants being interested in Aaron Rodgers set off alarm bells for me. Because nothing's easier than taking him, like you said, kind of resetting your own clock. You don't have to trade up, all of that. And if they're not wanting to, it makes me worry that does the media have him rated higher than NFL teams?
Well, the things change dramatically too from the combine to the draft. I mean, this list will be
also before we move on.
Over.
Yeah,
Josh owes me $100
for what?
Why?
Because I bet him. I gave him 10-1 odds that you would find a way to bring up the Shedur tweet into the show, even if we didn't have the graphic built.
It's a great story.
And you've brought it up twice, and I think it's coming up in weird.
And Josh bet $100 on it.
Well, it was 100 to 1,000. But I laid 10 to 1. But I knew it was it's easy.
It's a great story. Hall of Famer Julian Edelman did it for the Patriots. I don't know.
Well, remember, it started with Troy Brown.
Troy Brown
was a great Patriot as well.
And Troy Brown was a 12-year veteran at wide receiver.
The Patriots.
Who we worked at slot cornerback because we need to build some versatility. I love this. I love the fact that he can play both ways. And what people forget is how important roster versatility is, because you only have a certain amount of guys on game day. So you're constantly saying who you're going to leave home, which position you're going to take, which position you're going to leave home. And when you've got a guy like this who could potentially play both spots, go ahead.
No, I think this is a different question though, which is, Coach, is it possible to be full-time both? Because that's what he's saying. And I just want to. I think he did it in college. He legitimately was full-time.
He played 157 plays, I think, in one game.
Yeah.
So is it physically possible? Yeah, it's physically possible to do it. I absolutely believe he could do it. I don't think it's wise. I don't think anybody will do that. But what I do think is very possible. Let's say you start him at cornerback, and that's where he plays his primary position. And then on offense, you bring him in on third down, you bring him in the red zone, and you play him in 2 minutes. So you bring him in key situations offensively. And then if you have a couple gadget plays here, you want him in a certain package, then you could maximize his primary position and still get real value in critical situations, help win the game.
So I love.
Before I let Nick go, I couldn't agree any more. 1,000%. I agree 100,000% with Coach on this. This is what I've been preaching since he got to Jackson State. He doesn't have to be a full-time offense and defense. In my opinion, Travis Hunter is too great to just leave him at one position. He dominated at corner. He dominated at wide receiver in college. He has all the tools to play both positions. Long, speed, can jump, great ball skills, all that. But I would definitely not play him full time. It just doesn't make sense. It's going to be too much taxing on his body, more prone to injury when you're out there for 100+ plays. So my way of thinking is he will play cornerback full-time cornerback. And just like Coach said, gadget plays on offense, situational football, 2-minute drills, third downs, stuff like that. You have him out there in the key plays. But for most of the game, he's playing defense. That's not unbelievable. That's not impossible. He's already showed that he can do it at a high level on both sides in college. So I definitely believe he can do it part-time offense, full-time defense in the NFL. So thank you, Coach. You just beautifully explained, very elegant. I love it. Now let's see what Nick has to say.
That plan. I'm impromptu quiz kind of on this. It seems like if he wants to be full-time both. I know from a conditioning standpoint he can do it. I'm curious if even from a game plan standpoint if he can do it. And so let's just say full-time both, at least in the beginning, is out of the question. Then doesn't his one full-time have to be corner? Because the opposite of what you described, I don't think really exists, which is, all right, you are a number one receiver, and then part-time what? Because sometimes your nickel corner is on the field the whole game. What if a team drafts him and says, oh, okay, you have a chance to be a great wide receiver. That's where we want you all. Because I think everyone agrees what you described could happen. Full-time corner and then, part-time receiver. Can the opposite work, or is it because defense is so often dictated by what the other team's running? You understand what I mean? Decide how many receivers you have on the field. The other team decides how many corners you have on the field by how many receivers they put out there. So could he be full-time receiver and part-time corner?
Yeah, you could. You just wouldn't necessarily make him your inside slot corner, your star position. You'd have him be one of the outside corners, so you could insert him whenever you wanted to. And then if they were playing even on a multiple wide receiver set where you're playing nickel or dime, the guys who play inside, and then you insert him outside. Because the outside guy, you're always going to have two outside guys no matter what happens. So you're going to play on the right side, it's going to be outside, and we're going to figure out when we put you in.
I also just love that he wants to do it.
I love
this. A very easy answer for this, and I know it's like rookie scale, but if you're his agent and you're just by the numbers, hey man, you're only going to get paid for one for right now. You're going to play half for free. That would be my mindset on it. The fact that he's fired up to do both, I love.
It's great. And I don't know if people appreciate how valuable that is. I don't think you get the sense of the guy could be a frontline corner and a frontline receiver. And even if it's just in critical situations, you bring in a stud in the red zone, you're bringing a stud on third down that helps you stay on the field.
It
goes to 2 minutes. Well,
I think his second contract probably will. All the rookies deserve more money. Their pays are artificially depressed. I just want to say, because I was, I think, fair but critical of Shedur, I have no questions about this kid in any regard. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Yeah, Coach pretty much summed it up what I was going to say about Nick's point was, could he do it full-time offense and part-time defense? Yeah, that's he could do it. If a team really wanted him to play receiver more, he could do it. It wouldn't be an issue. He just know he's going to learn the defensive coverages, the schemes, the plays, and they're going to put him in whenever they want. He's a generational talent. I personally think the Titans should take him with the first pick and figure out the quarterback, get a vet quarterback, try to go get A-Rod or somebody like that, and then draft a quarterback later, because I really think Travis is that good. Now, if they do I saw on one of the mock drafts that they're looking at getting the DN. Who's the guy that I saw? They're looking at getting Abdul Carter from Penn State. Much respect to Mr. Carter. I know he's a great player. The Titans, they better not do that. They either need to get a quarterback or they need to get Shedur. One of the main reasons why they're in this terrible position is because the Titans jumped crazily high to get Will Levis. God. They traded up in the early second round to draft him when everybody passed on him in the first round. I still don't understand how that happened, but yeah, they jumped and got him, and he is not the guy. So now they have to pivot and try to figure something else out. I think that I think if they do get a quarterback, I think they should trade down, right? Because I don't think whoever is getting the number one pick, I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think, if the Raiders or the Giants trade them to get up, they might take a quarterback. But I think everybody is trying to get Travis. I think that's the one everybody wants. Travis is the best player in this class, in my opinion, and he should be the number one pick. So the Titans either need to take him, or if they're like, nah, we don't want to take him, we want to get a quarterback, then trade down. Trade down, get a boatload of picks, and be smart with them. But I'm from Tennessee. It's the Titans. I know they won't do the right thing. So that was the video today, guys. I know it was a short one, but I just wanted to jump on that because it was super interesting to me. Stay tuned for more of Vic's takes. I'm going to be dropping back to back to back. So if you're rocking with me, keep rocking with me because we got more content coming, baby. I'm just getting warmed up, all right? And also, I just dropped my Captain America Brave New World box office review. That's on my channel as well. I'm going to drop that down in the description so y'all can check that link out as well, all right? And like I always do, I'm going to drop the video of First Things First. Thank you, Fox Sports, for allowing us content creators to review your videos on YouTube. I'm going to drop this link down in the description as well. If y'all want to go check out the video yourselves, definitely feel free to do that. All right, it's your boy VIC93. All right, family. Peace.